Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon for August 13th, 2022, with your host, SpaceBreaker2448, and Ramp It Up Salon. I got to work this week for one day for 2 hours. I have a tale for you about my first day at work. Oh boy, it is a fun tale. So for those that don't know, I am doing some temp work for 3 months to do remodeling of a big box retail storefront. I was supposed to start work this Thursday. I show up at 7 o'clock. No one is there to tell me what to do at 7 o'clock. I have to wait an entire hour for someone to show up to tell me what the fuck to do, because I don't know what to do. And guess what I get told? I have to do these online e-learnings on one of these, I forget what it is. It's not a proper computer. It's one of those like smaller server box things. One of those, yeah. On like a monitor that is 20 years out of date, I'm pretty sure. Yes, and also on keyboards that someone has done something on that I demand to find out who did it, because I want to throttle them. So, you know how you got the little tabs on the back of keyboards to like pop them up to, lift up the keyboard? Yeah, they were gone on it. I want to throttle the person who did so. You fucking animal! How dare you! I feel like they were purposely removed because they were removed on all of them, I think. On the sum total of 6 keyboards in this room on 6 stations. I think they have been removed on all of them. That is the... Oh no. They were all missing both, which makes me think somebody purposely removed all of them. But I'm like, you were... Yeah, but I'm just like, you fucking animals, you. What have you done? This is the worst. This is worse than me trying to readjust to a keyboard that does not have like an extended like keypad and all that. This just feels wrong. So yeah, that was true. But But yeah, I start an hour late on all that. It takes me all day, through my first break, through my lunch, through my second break, for me to finally be done with all of these goddamn e-learnings, for me to actually go do work for the day. And guess what? In the process of all of this happened. So apparently at some point while I was working on these e-learnings, a meeting was called with all of the temp workers. And they were told that they are not going to do this day shift that I'm a part of for the remodel. They are instead going to do like 2 night shifts or something like that. So they're going to keep all of us on, but they're going to send us other places in the store. And keep our shifts as is. I was told after the fact because I was not told this meeting happened. It gets better. So I finally get out on the floor. I'm working with some people. We're putting up stuff. We're doing basic stocking stuff because we're not actually doing the remodel work because they haven't figured out what the fuck they're doing with the remodel yet. Yeah. I find out for someone else to... Yeah. So, pick one of the big box places. It's one of them. Yes. But actually, before I got out to the floor, I talked to the person who told me about the stuff. And I was just like, okay, I want to talk about like where you want to move me and stuff. And she's like, no, I'm keeping you on for the remodel work. Yes. Okay. So I then get told, no, that's not the case. We're keeping you on the remodel stuff. And I'm like, what? All right, fine, whatever. So I go back to work. I finally get out to the floor. I talk to them. I talk to the people that I'm working with and stuff. They actually got to go to the meeting. I didn't, because again, no one told me. No one came and got me, even though I've been in the exact same office. That is, by the way, the same office as the person who told me and I believe ran the meeting to start with. Because that's where the computers are. So it's not like she didn't know where I was to start with. So I get out there, talk to them. One of them goes back and talks to this person, and they come back and be like, no, they're keeping that. So I go back to work tomorrow. The Friday and Saturday are my days off. I go back to work tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going back to work tomorrow to work the job I applied for to start with, or a completely different job. Day one, mind you, folks. Day one. I got 3 months of this shit I need to get through. And bear in mind, the work I did on the floor was not that bad at all. Even for 2 hours. So I was like, fuck it, whatever happens, I just need to get through this because I need to get money for student loans since they start repayment soon for me. So fucking whatever. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. As long as I keep my hours, I don't care. So that was the saga that was Thursday. Tune in tomorrow night for TGSR. There might be a sequel to all this. Yeah, because, you know, that sentiment of they have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, people that were there for longer than me. Yeah, no, that was the sentiment from them too. Like, they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And I'm like, fair. I am 1 day into this and I feel like they have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, anyway, folks, on the video game talk, tell me, what have you been playing the last couple weeks? I keep seeing Spike. Ah, damn. Yeah, I keep seeing Spike. Is open world is what he's doing, right? With the whole point system, all that hoopla. Oh, okay. Because I don't think I've paid attention enough to get the full explanation of what the hell that is. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you didn't have to do math on... Mm-hmm. It gives KH2 Rando routing, which is what the Rando has needed since the beginning. Because there's been, for those that haven't played KH2 Rando, there is no proper routing in terms of the logic of the unlocks. All of the routing that has been done for KH2 randomizers from different runners and stuff has been just how to get to unlocks faster, not necessarily reacting to what you get per se.
Also, I just realized that my mic was muted.
Oh, so this has been a one-sided conversation the entire time. Fantastic.
I just look over and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But yeah, KH2 with open KH. For those confused by the half of a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one good thing. You know the world progression checks that the tracker was showing?
Yes.
That's actually only implemented in the OpenKH side of things.
Mm-hmm. Is that also critical only?
No.
Okay. I keep seeing when Spike does difficulty select for them that it's like, warning, do not choose anything but critical, please.
It was working on beginner with me.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
I don't know necessarily about the world progression stuff because I kept having the issue where the 3 chests in the garden was vanilla. Meaning, you kind of get a proof right there normally.
Yeah, because you get proof of
non-existence, I think it is.
Yes, I was about to say, crap, which one was which? I'm like, non-existence is for the data fights, completing all the data fights. Connection is for defeating Terra, and
Peace is the mushroom.
Peace is, just doing all of the mushrooms and then going and saying hi to them.
But yeah, I don't know if the world progression stuff is locked behind crit or not. I doubt it though. But I know the rest of it was acting just like normal KH2 rando kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
There is difficulty settings that you can set for it, like how hard they want you to try to find the stuff. You can set it to where everything has to be in first visit. You know, the thing that would be beneficial when we've tried streaming it.
Yeah. So we don't end up like doing 12,000 second halves.
Uh-huh.
And all the ground shaker seeds we've had to do.
Yeah. I did get a dumb idea though. So Spike and Hobbs have been doing the dungeons or hit list, whatever they're calling it at this point.
Yes.
What if we did something similar to that, but with basically completion of world? Because technically the rando tracks that.
So we have to complete so many worlds, essentially. That doesn't sound too bad.
And we could even do, like, we still have to do final fight if we felt like it kind of deal. Just have go mode on from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That way, basically, it's once we finish that, that's really kind of it. We've just got that little bit of a chance in case we fumble on the final fights.
Yeah.
That, or, give us a reason to not just bum rush certain worlds.
High Pride Lands, how you doing?
Pride Lands, Disney Castle. Truthfully, STT. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, as soon as you have limit, you just barrel through that as fast as possible.
It's one of those that I feel like that might be something to do to change it up. Because I mean, yeah, the co-op stuff that's good. Don't get me wrong there. That kind of makes us have to think of what we're doing. But at the same time, it might be kind of interesting to see a race kind of deal. Because, I mean, to be fair, you have more knowledge of the game than me. But at the same time, I have more knowledge of the rando than you. So that could be interesting.
Yeah. Trying to think of how that would balance out, especially since I think I'm the only one who's done all of the data fights. And I've at least attempted terror on several of them.
I'm not gonna do data fights.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do data fights again. That was a journey, shall we say, that is on the Twitch. That was a series of pre-shows.
Every time I get the wild hair of, I might try a data fight just for the heck of it on one of our God mode save files.
Just demolished.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of what data fight would even be the easiest fight.
I feel like if I did the horizontal phase strats for Roxas, I might could do the horizontal slash for him. That could possibly be the easiest, but I don't know as far as now what would be.
Probably Marluxia, if I were to guess. Because Marluxia doesn't do direct damage for most of his attacks. There are a couple of attacks that do direct damage to you. The rest of his damage is a hit counter that is relative to your level. So say you're at like level 50. You can only take 50 hits from him unless you do the reaction command that fills that gauge back up, because there's a way to fill it back up. And Marluxia is pretty simple. Like, once you've seen one rotation of what he does, including his DM, that's the fight. That's it. He's got nothing else really super fancy or interesting. Everything's fairly easily dodgeable. I feel like if there's any data fight I think is a good introduction, it's Marluxia. Because you don't have to worry about the game just whacking you in the head 5 seconds in and you're dead. You get to actually learn the Marluxia fight.
Which I do have a question too. Is there a big difference between the absent silhouette fights and the data fight?
Not really. I don't think they have any new moves between the two of them. So I believe in general...
It's more just how much health they...
Yeah, I think they're scaled up for their data fight variants, but I don't think they have any new moves. So if you've beaten an absent silhouette of Marluxia, that is the fight. That's the data fight.
It's just a longer fight, kind of. Because I was kind of wondering why the rando did put them together, kind of deal, where you could complete them at the same time. And
yeah,
that makes sense at that.
I'm trying to think of who else is easy. Larkscene, if you can pull off the quick kill strat. Which is get her.
From what I've seen be done, it looks like pretty much if you can do the quick kill strat, all of them are easy.
Right. Well, Larkscene's is just get her down low enough, make her shadow clone herself, and then duck flare. Because duck flare does stupid amounts of damage on like the proper HD versions of the game, and I believe that's the same for PC.
I was gonna say on every version of the game except for the original.
That and PS3, I believe. We don't. Here's the thing: I did KH2 on PS3 for the marathon way back when. That is like the worst version of KH2.
I think Duck Flare's not the best there. I think isn't that actually Comet is the best.
Yeah,
Use of Donald's.
I was about to say it's one of those two. I forget what it actually is. It's whenever Donald gets up on your shoulders and he's doing all sorts of fireworks and explosions and stuff.
I know Duck Flare's the go-to for 60 FPS.
Right.
I'm thinking it's Comet is the one that was used then.
Yeah, because the thing with Larxene, and this is something that they didn't do with Xemnas, and that her shadow clones are hitboxes. They do take damage, and they take damage to her main health bar. They're not like on a separate health bar. Like, it's not a case where, in like with Final Xemnas, where like only one Xemnas is damageable, the other one
that's
can't.
obnoxious.
Right. Larxene's different.
Also, I don't know if I was grossly underpowered or not, but the one seed that I actually did that almost got finished, I swear to God, Final Xemnas was literally two-shotting me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy freaking crap. Either I'm that underpowered or something is weird here.
Who else is he? Luxord, I guess, because his fight's a gimmick. More or less. Do you know how to play a game?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, do you know how to do this mini game consistently? If you can, congratulations, you've solved the fight. Even better for Rando, because you can glide up the wall and avoid his entire DM.
Yeah.
Until
I found that out and I kind of dig.
Yeah. Granted, I think now runners just skip his gimmick entirely. Like, they reflect the attack that causes the game and just keep damaging him until he's dead and bypass his DM.
I think the way they wind up bypassing it is by being able to just out damage it and keep him stun locked for all.
Yeah, which I would say is very tricky. So
yeah.
I'm trying to think of who would be the worst ones. I think Axel's probably the worst one. How would you like to deal with a floor that is constantly damaging you?
I mean, the floor is lava.
Mm-hmm. And you can't beat him until you get rid of the lava floor, meaning you have to do his reaction command to get rid of it to kill him. Yeah, you cannot kill him unless he gives you the means to do his reaction command. He is invulnerable at 1 health, which sucks because I ran into that. Xemnas, because it is first fight Xemnas at the tower, and then it is final Xemnas back to back. You have to beat both of them at the same time.
Which I can honestly say, the fight at the tower, I've not done enough to feel totally comfortable with that one.
Yeah, but again, even with the data fights that aren't like the absent silhouettes, it's the same fight. I think the only person that technically has something different is Demix. He has some nasty countdowns when he does his dance water dance bullshit.
Fair.
I think one of them is beat 10 clones in 10 seconds. Which is why you go Wisdom on against Demix, actually, for his data fight. Because you use Fyra. Because Wisdom Fyra travels. It makes you travel. So you essentially lock on, or you soft lock onto the shadow clones, and you essentially just fire through them. And because the lock-on keeps you moving, you get through all of them fairly quickly.
I was actually seeing Hobbs doing duck flare, and it was working too.
That probably would work too, because Demix is weak to fire. Also, Vexen is weak to fire. Guess what? Final Fire Rocket Strats work really well on Vexen. Which that fight is incredibly tricky because it's kind of, I wouldn't want to say it's a time fight, but he will spawn a Shadow Sora that has Anti-Sora's moveset, and he can summon multiples of those. They will come for your head, and they are more of a threat than Vexen. Like, Vexen is nothing. Like, if you were to move the Anti-Soras from that fight, Vexen is a fucking cakewalk. But as soon as you add in the Anti-Soras, it's a problem. Because that is the Anti-Sora moveset. And guess what Anti-Sora is really good at doing? Comboing your ass into the floor.
Sounds about
and that sets you up to get your second chance or once more bypassed, and you get the kill, and you get killed. Because they will exhaust those, and you will get killed by something else. Very easily. But yeah, like, the thing with the data fights is like, there are strats. I don't know what the current strats are. I just remember the old strats from, PS4 days. I don't know if what's been updated for PC releases and all that. But honestly, the strats that they do, like, at least the beginner ones, are worth looking into to help you do those fights. Because, yeah, these boss fights are rough. Like, when I say Sephiroth is the easiest, like, extra boss in the game, I mean that. Like, I can do Sephiroth in my sleep, because Sephiroth is a cakewalk. There are specific moves you reflect. There's a specific move you reaction command, unless you're Biz, and you just walk away from it, because you scare everybody who's watching you play the game. You don't let him do Heartless Angel. You either do Trinity limit through his fire pillars, or you reflect through it. And you just put him in the ground, because Sephiroth is really easy. Which is hilarious, because KH1 Sephiroth, I believe, is way harder. Like, super hard. But KH2 Sephiroth is way easier. And way more manageable, I feel like. But yeah, anywho, anything else?
I have restarted playing Spider-Man on PC.
Because of the how is the PC version?
I'll be glad when the mods start coming in, because it actually runs a lot smoother than I thought it would. Like, I was having no problems. Granted, I knocked it down to medium. I was kind of pushing my computer a little bit. I was starting to get chug in the city kind of deal. But I think that's just because there's so much going on. But even on medium, it still looks pretty good. I feel like the PS4's got a better graphics quality, and that might just be because it was built for it to begin with.
That would make sense.
But, I mean, it's not anything that I'd be like, oh, it's too bad, you should just get it on PS4. No, I mean, if you don't have a way of getting it on PS4 or 5, then yeah, this is going to be your best shot at it.
I think all of these ports from like PS4 5 to PC have been good.
It's one of those, like I said, I feel like on console probably had the better quality at least, but nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I did have a weird glitch that I wish I had been recording for.
Oh no.
So, you know the diving punch animation that you have?
Mm-hmm.
Where you kind of jump off of a mount point? Yeah. When that animation combines with you jumping to said point, because, you know, inputs decided to go through at the exact same moment, apparently, that caused what I almost thought was a soft lock until I realized, no, I can jump and I get right out of it. Stuck in the position through the bar that I was actually standing on. I have no clue what the hitbox was doing. That's one of those times where I'm like, I wish I knew what the hitbox was doing. Because that would be immensely funny if that was purely a graphical glitch. But, yeah. Outside of that, I don't really think anything else. I've poked a little bit at Fortnite, but I mean, we all know that because of last week.
Yeah.
But
I've unlocked the cheat code system for Vampire Survivor. They keep doing updates to this game that is $3 on fucking Steam. Like let me say this: anyone who's vaguely interested in Vampire Survivor, after I've described it a couple different times on the podcast, just go pick it up. It's like $3. It's on Game Pass even. Like, just go give it a shot. But they've just now put out an update that lets you unlock a cheat code system, where essentially it will give you hints for the various different secret unlock characters. So like Reaper and all that. It will give you hints in-game on how to get them. But you can also input a cheat code to just unlock them automatically if you don't wish to go through the hassle of trying to unlock them. Hello, Grim Reaper. Which, to be honest, is not really the worst one because there is a strat for that. The worst one is actually the Trio of Ghosts. Because I'm going to describe to you how to unlock each of these, because you have to unlock each of them in order. So, first, you have to unlock X-Dash. To unlock X-Dash, you have to enter quickly X hyphen X 1VIIQ on the main menu. And I do mean fast. It took me like 6 attempts to get this inputted. For Toasty, you have to defeat the enemy, the Stalker, the Drowner, or the Trickster after you've unlocked X-Dash. Once you have defeated them, you will see Toasty on the bottom right of your screen for half a second. You have to press the down arrow key and enter when that happens. And I do mean down arrow key and enter. S does not work on Wasta setups. It has to be down and enter. Then, after you unlocked X-Dash in Toasty, you then get to try to unlock Smith 4. To unlock Smith 4, you have to type spam into the main menu. This will start a hidden 30-second timer. You then have to go to character selection and enter spam. Then go to stage selection, enter spam, and then enter a run and enter humbug. When you leave the run, Smith 4 will finally be playable. Yeah, some of the secret unlocks in Vampire Survivor are nasty. But like you could just enter in cheat codes and be done and not worry about those, which thank God. Actually, give me 1 second. I need to step away, use the bathroom, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
But yeah, I've done that. I have picked up Digimon Survive. I've got it installed and stuff because you have to buy it in the first month to get Guillemon. So I went ahead and did that. I'm not going to play it until I'm done with work.
You say.
That might change. We'll see. But mainly, I finally wrapped up Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Oh, it's so good. I'm going to echo what I've heard from a couple other people in that the Xenoblade games have gotten better over time. After I've played 1, 2, and 3 now, 3 is kind of the best of the bunch, at least mechanically. But yeah, it was really good. I can say this without getting into too many spoilers. The end of Chapter 5 into Chapter 6, which I believe someone timed out as 90 minutes of cutscenes, I think, that are like interrupted with small bits of gameplay here and there. It is a roller coaster of fucking emotions that I needed to take a break after I was done, because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this game went places. I need a break. But it is super good. I am really excited to see what they'll do for the story DLC they're going to do for the game, like next year or so. I have an idea of what it will be, but that gets into big, heavy spoilers of the game. Like, super spoilers for the game, so I'm not going to talk about it. But it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. It probably also helps I only paid like $10 for the game because of report points for my credit card and all that. So, one of those times where I'm like, yeah, only having to pay like $10 for this game really makes the game feel a lot better. It kind of makes me ignore half a dozen problems that it might have, but there wasn't really anything for me to complain about with Xeno 3. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Go give it a play, folks. It still amazes me that where Xenoblade started. Excuse me. Like, just Xenoblade, mind you. This doesn't even get into the conversation of, like, the Xenogears and Xenosaga series. They're both done by Monolith. In their journey through all of this, I think Good Vibes Gaming has an entire historical breakdown of, like, the journey Monolith Soft has had with the Xeno games. It is amazing how far they've come. And I'm really proud of this team for the work they've done. They've done good work. But yeah, other than that, I finally got in my Shoto's Go Catcher stuff, so I get to do a perch for Navi, who's their little mechanical parrot friend, and a weapon stand for the Gokai Galleon Buster, eventually, on stream. Because I'm going to do measurements and stuff, and then I might just end up designing those on stream. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Puzzle League, because I need to probably de-stress, and Puzzle League is my de-stressor. Believe it or not.
Puzzle League. The game that can be stressful on its own.
Right, but I enjoy that stress. I am sure anyone who's played Puzzle League on, like, the higher difficulties, because I'm on, like, second hardest difficulty on stream, are just like, you are fucking nuts. And I'm like, probably. I am probably a little nuts for that, but yeah. No, I enjoy playing Puzzle League at the higher difficulty and, like, seeing if I can actually survive long enough. I don't even get upset when I get dunked, because I'm just like, nope, I got dunked because the game wanted me dead. Like, what am I gonna do? I put everything I had, and the game was just like, nope, I'm the better person today. Goodbye. So yeah. That will probably be a stream next week for pre-show on, like, Sundays, because I like doing the 3D cat stuff, which I don't know what to file that under on Twitch in terms of categories.
Twitch don't either.
I don't even know if anyone else does CAD work on Twitch.
Probably not.
Like, I know people do artist stuff in, like, other craft stuff, but I don't think anyone does 3D, like, CAD modeling, mind you. Not like modeling, 3D models for video games, because I'm sure people do that on Twitch. But like CAD work specifically, like I don't know if anyone does that on Twitch, but I just been finding other talk shows because that's kind of what it ends up turning into.
I mean, fair. I mean, and that also is what comes after. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, shall we get into the news then?
I guess we shall.
Yeah, we ended up with like 4 recaps of events essentially. So, buckle in, folks. It might be a little bit of a long one. So, Splatoon 3 got a 30-minute, approximately, direct, showcasing a lot of its game. I don't even know where to begin with the highlights on it because it was a lot. So, we've got introduced to Splatsville. That's the hub. We got a recap of just basic Splatoon gameplay with turf war and all that. We're getting more. There's a mix of new and old stages, and more stages are going to come post-launch as free updates. There's going to be a lot in those updates. Stay tuned. All weapons are available from the previous games, including the new bows and the new Splatonas, which I don't think we've seen before. Essentially, that's Splatoon's answer to, would you like a sword weapon? Because that's kind of what it seems like.
Yeah.
For weapons, you're not having to pay gold to unlock weapons anymore. You're going to get Sheldon licenses by leveling up and other assorted unlock methods, and those will unlock weapons, and it's going to be 1 per weapon. Unless the weapon is above your level, then you can pay more to unlock that weapon early. So if there's a very specific weapon you want to get, you can bank your licenses and just pick that one up early.
So they're still not solving the core problem.
No.
The core problem with it is until you hit that certain level cap, you are stuck fighting people with better weapons.
Pretty much. Clothing shops are back. I think it's all new people for the clothing shops. Nothing new here outside of you have loadouts now. You can save up to what look like 5 loadouts of your gear and weapons, and you can freely swap between them.
Wow, so they did actually do something to, improve.
Yes, finally. Anarchy Battle will be what they're redubbing ranked gameplay. Modes are still on rotation. It's the same modes as before. Splatstones, Tower Control, Rainmaker, Clan Blitz. It looks like, at the very least, Rainmaker and Clan Blitz have been modified. Rainmaker is now operating on checkpoints. You are now having to dunk the Rainmaker on what looks like different checkpoints throughout the map to progress throughout the battlefield. And Clan Blitz, it looks like you're trying to pop a balloon before you can dunk your clams in. Or at least I think you're guaranteed getting your clams in. You're not having to it's not as tricky as I think Clan Blitz's was before. So those two have received modifications. I didn't notice anything with Splatstones and Tower Control and the small bits of gameplay we got.
If that's the case, then that means that Rainmaker's more taking a MOBA approach.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably for the best.
Yeah, they still have the thing where when you dunk the Rainmaker, it pops its shield. And you have to repop the shield to grab the Rainmaker. So you still have that aspect of the Rainmaker phase, or that aspect in the game mode. But it's now several mounds that you're having to work through. So there's a little bit more back and forth. It's not bum rush done. Rainmaker match over in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I like it all.
Mm-hmm. Practice mode is available. It lets you practice not only in a lobby that you can practice with other players, but you can practice on maps themselves. Like you can go explore any map. Replays are also a thing as well. You can view replays of from your perspective or anyone else's perspective. A new locker feature, which lets you customize a locker both inside and out with various like bits and bobbles and stickers and whatever. And that will be viewable to your friends and other players. Along with those, banners, badges, and titles will customize like your intro card when you start a match. You can also customize your winning emote. You can change that now. And all of these are within catalogs. And these catalogs are going to be released every 3 months for 2 years. And I think this is essentially a battle pass without saying the words battle pass. Because they are included in the game. I don't know if you can still progress the catalogs after the 3-month rotation. I haven't seen clarification on that aspect just yet. But that's kind of what we're looking at. There is a card game as a little side mode called Table Turf Battle. You can collect up to 150 cards. You can build a deck, and you get to more or less do like a turf war match, but you're like 1v1 a person, and you're like playing different cards to like fill in different areas of the map and stuff. It looks kind of interesting.
Oh dear God. You know, if we do this for a co-op or rampant gaming, we will wind up spending most of the stream doing that, right?
Probably. Salmon Run is getting new bosses, including a super boss that might pop up when you finish up a game that you have to defeat in order to properly clear the game, called Chozuna. And they, I think, imply that there might be others like it. Also, Salmon Run will not just be on the usual maps and stuff we've seen before. They can also take place on multiplayer maps. And it is not on rotation. You can play Salmon Run whenever the fuck you want.
Took them long enough.
I know. There is a story mode. You have to go through a manhole cover to go to it. I would say Captain Cuttlefish is the person there, but it seems like he's not Captain Cuttlefish anymore. He seems to be retired Captain Cuttlefish because Agent 3 seems to have taken over the captain role, and Callie and Marie are with her. So canonically, Splatoon 1's protagonist is female. It is the orange-haired female. So canonically, that is who Agent 3 is, even though you are a new Agent 3 because essentially Agent 3 got promoted.
Yeah, to Captain 3.
Yep. You also get, what was his name? Do they not have the amiibo listed? That little, like, baby salmon friend that we saw in the previous trailers. That looks to be a mechanic in the story modes. Like, you can send him out to do various things in the story mode levels. So that's in play as well. I believe you get to maybe customize him or them. Also, you can choose to be an Inkling or Octoling off the bat. It is either or, including genders.
So no DLC for Octolings.
Yeah. And I believe, I would assume you can also be an Octoling in Splatoon 3 story mode, unlike Splatoon 2 story mode. Because that was a thing you could not do in Splatoon 2, even after Octo expansion.
Yeah.
Illustrations are back. Food and drinks are back. The show hub is back for local play. Photo mode is back. You can also save photos into what is essentially a photo frame and put them in your locker. Recon mode is the thing that lets you explore the stages and stuff on your own time. Amiibos are back, and coming this holiday, we're getting another 3-pack of Amiibo. We're essentially going to get a Octoling girl that is, or is this a girl or a guy? It does not specify the gender.
Octoling.
It is a blue Octoling, a yellow Inkling, and Small Fry, which is your little, salmon buddy from the story mode. And they are coming out this holiday. I believe I've seen reports that some of the other, at least the Squid Sisters and Off the Hook crew, their amiibo are getting reprinted. So if you missed out on the 4 of them, you got another chance at them. I'm unfortunately missing the unique ones from Splatoon 2. We are also introduced to the cast of Deep Cut. They are Shiver, Fry, and Big Man. It is a trio because Splatfest are returning, and there are now 3 options. You now get to choose one of 3 options, and
so then we can now have 2 teams getting beat up by the popular opinion.
It gets better or worse depending on your opinion of this. The Splatfest will be in 2 phases. There'll be in the normal vote stage, and then, and like in the normal battle stuff, you'll essentially be able to 1v1 one of the other 2 teams that you're not on. But in a special time frame, I think in like a second phase of the Splatfest, the top team will have to go up against the 2 other teams at the same time in a turf war 3-way. The only catch is the top team gets 4 players, the other 2 teams only get 2 players. I see the problems already.
So it's a handicap.
Pretty much.
For the losing team.
Yes. I think it needed to be 2v2v2 or 4v4v4, but I don't know if 4v4v4 would work. I think that would be too chaotic.
Or here's a novel concept. Just don't. Because what the heck?
Yeah.
That is purely just asking for that to happen.
Well, we'll get our first taste of it because a sneak peek Splatfest event will be taking place August 27th at 9 p.m. Pacific. Your choices are rock, paper, and scissors.
Of course, that would be.
More or less, this is a disguised beta test of Splatoon 3's online play. They are also hosting a Splatoon 3 Invitational Tournament on September 5th at PAX West. Various professional players from Splatoon's, pro leagues and stuff, are being invited out to PAX West to compete in Splatoon 3. Once more, give a showcase of the game and stuff. We've got 12 maps at launch. You can see them in the image there. I'm not going to read them off. You can also see the Deep Cut crew in the picture for the thumbnail down below. I want to pick all of the Manta Ray Friends options. I like my Manta Ray friend. All he wants is to give hugs, and I agree. So, how do you feel about Splatoon 3?
I feel like there's decisions that were made.
Yeah. It feels like it.
And I don't know how to feel about them. Because it feels like it's... It feels like they're at least attempting, but I think they're looking at the wrong problem.
A little bit, yeah. Because I think all of the core gameplay stuff we've seen from Splatoon 3 looks good. I'm curious on how they're handling the catalog system. Because I'm curious, like...
You're curious how they're handling the Battle Pass system?
Yes, essentially. I'm just going to say it's a Battle Pass system without saying it's a Battle Pass system, so people maybe don't get upset about it.
Why would people get upset about a Battle Pass? Oh, right.
Like, if it operates like Master Chief Collection, where, okay, you just log on, you get the catalog, you can, like, level it up as you want, grab stuff, move on. Like, if a new one comes, you've still got the old catalog, you can still level it up and stuff. That's fine, but if it cycles out, I'm like, I wish we'd stop doing that. I wish we would respect players' time more, please. Thank you. And like Splatfest, it seemed the whole 2v4v2 thing, I'm just like, that's going to be a travesty. That's going to be a travesty day one. And we're going to get a sneak peek of it in like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to turn into a clusterfuck and everyone to go like, all right, this is a terrible decision. Maybe we need to modify this real quick. Maybe it needs to be 2v3v2. Because I feel like the winning team should at least still get an advantage of some kind for being the winning team at the moment. But 4 players feels too many. Three sounds like, okay, you have a man advantage, but it's not going to make that much of a difference in the long run. It's still going to come down to the skill of the players. And also, the winning team is in the middle of the map, and the other 2 teams are starting on the opposite ends. So, in theory, you should...
The problem that's going to come from that is a case of you got 4 people that's on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a team that's comprised of 4 people from the other 2 sides that are losing.
Yes.
If I'm already losing, and I know it's by a good margin, I at least want to be second.
Yeah.
So what's going to stop me from throwing the match just to make sure that they can't get a chance to win?
Yeah, that's kind of
the problem I'm thinking of. If they wanted to do that, they should have set up something to where, and Turf War can do this, 3 teams of 2.
Yeah.
That way it gives both of the other teams a chance at a win against the winning team.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go a step further. Have it be point-based. Have each win get that team so many points.
Mm-hmm.
Each match be a set amount of points regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Tally it at the end.
Yeah, it seems like
what you do is you throw out any kind of, because I'm sure they won't have this part fixed, throw out any matches between same teams. Mm-hmm. Just don't make them count at all.
Yeah.
And do like an average points kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Splatfests are going to continue to be a travesty, unfortunately. Yeah. At least the core of Splatoon 3 looks to be good and stuff, and that's what I care about at the moment. Because Splatfest will be just fucking whatever. There'll be a weekend of a problem that I can ignore if I want to, and just not play. And just play when they're done. Or I can go do Salmon Run.
Let's say that, that's the problem. It shouldn't have to be like that.
Right. It shouldn't feel like I need to do that.
And I know the only reason that they're even going the route they're going with this is because they did see people not play in Splatfest.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, there's been a few of them that I didn't because of how it always winds up.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, it's like they're trying to fix the wrong part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll also note in the single player stuff, no sighting of Marina, Pearl, or Agent 8, or Agent 4. So we don't know canonically who Agent 4 is, or canonically who Agent 8 is. It wouldn't surprise me if Agent 8 is going to be the female Octoling. That was on all of the cover art and stuff.
Probably.
But we still don't know who Agent 4 canonically is. I'm waiting for it to be a boy, just because we should probably have a boy main character at some point. Granted, it's not like... Okay, question.
Mm-hmm.
This probably has no answer, but are the Inklings and Octolings gender fluid?
Pun intended or no pun intended?
No pun intended.
Okay.
Not no pun intended, mind you. I know it would be an easy pun, but like you can freely choose, like, swap your gender at any time, and I'm like, are they technically, can they just be whatever gender they want?
Possibly. That's a good question.
It's something I've just thought about that I'm sure has absolutely no Nintendo has absolutely no answer on, and they will probably never answer that, because that is a conversation we don't want to have.
Yeah.
But some part of me is like, it'd be interesting if, they were confirmed to be gender fluid. And technically they are just whatever gender they decide to be, like, that day, essentially. But yeah, I have hopes for Splatoon. We'll see it in a couple months. It's not that far away. Speaking of things not far away, shall we talk some Pokemon?
Yes, we shall.
Alright, we also had a Pokemon Direct this month. Most of this I don't care about. World Championships thing, Go thing, Unite thing, Masters EX thing, Cafe thing, don't give a shit. Don't care. Moving on. Scarlet and Violet.
The only thing they talked about.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So, I guess some of the highlights from here, because we don't have a great breakdown of this. Oh wait, no, we do. Thank you. So, we've got an idea of what the story is. You are a student at an academy, and you're given 3 story routes, essentially. One of them is going to be a gym route. The second one, I guess, is going to be some sort of route related to the new gimmick. And then a third one will be something else entirely. But you can progress these stories at any time you want. The gyms can be challenged at any time you want. But as far as I've seen from wording, gyms do not scale to your level. So if you decide to go challenge the last gym, it's gonna be leveled like the last gym. So you're gonna have to get fancy if you want to beat it in, like, whatever order you want. We got more looks at the legendaries, including their bike modes. Miraidon is the better one because it actually looks like a bike and not, hi, I inflated my tires to fake looking like a bike, but I'm still walking around on all fours, because do not compute what bike is. I are too dumb. You want bike? This is bike, right?
Bike is thing that goes quick, right? I go quick on 4 feet.
Wheel? What's a wheel? I don't know what wheel is. What are you talking about? You're crazy.
Who is Wheels? Someone I should know about.
But they essentially have, just a regular traversal mode. They can climb up cliff sides and stuff. They can also glide, a la Breath of the Wild, because I believe Monolith Soft is also doing support work for the open world on this. I still haven't confirmed that, but they did support work for X and Y's, or not X and Y, Sword and Shield's open world. So it wouldn't surprise me that they're also doing support work here, because apparently, I didn't know this until I was watching the video breaking down Molosoft's history. They have a separate studio just for support work for open world games for Nintendo.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Molosoft has a completely separate studio that is just support work for Nintendo. They still have their main studio that is doing all the shit they want. Because Nintendo's like, you're doing good games, you make us money, all right. Go, do your thing. We're good. Do your best. We're just here to write the checks. There is a union circle to enable co-op for up to 3 friends. You can run around the map. You can also ride around on your legendaries together. So you can essentially be a bike gang. Just roaming around on the legendaries, which is perfect. Raid battles are back as terror raid battles because terrorizing the fuck is this word? Territalizing or terrestalizing, whatever the fuck this word is. Big crystal hat thing. We're putting big giant crystal hats on Pokemon, and turning them into gems.
You know what's bad? I get the funny feeling that someone has made a joke already. Because you can be essentially a bike gang going around terrorizing Pokemon.
Pretty much. You are now that one bike game from the first game.
Oh god. It actually has come full circle, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. But in these raid battles, you'll be able to pick up Pokemon with those gimmicks. This new gimmick system modifies the typing of the Pokemon, and from my understanding of the breakdown I've seen from technically a leak on this, it replaces the typing of the Pokemon. So, say for instance, the Pikachu we're going to get a distribution of that has the balloon crown thing. That modifies Pikachu now to a flying type. But it boosts the flying type, so I believe it does 4x damage. I think. Or at the very least, it is boosting the damage of that specific typing to compensate for the fact that it is pretty much erasing the typing of the Pokemon, being like, you're a flying type now.
Huh.
At least I believe that's what it is from the last time I read that. Let me check and see to make sure that explanation is correct. Okay, so it uses Magnemite as an example, and I'll link you this image to kind of give you a visual, at least, of what we're dealing with. So, if we have a Magnemite as its normal electric steel type, that's regular stab typing, all that. If it gets swapped to a normal typing through the terastalizing method, it does pure normal stab, but it loses the steel and electric plus normal damage. Or loses the electric and then has normal damage. But if it has a terrorizing of one of its normal typings, for instance, electric, it does pure electric stab, it loses the steel typing, but it does more electric damage. So it's plussing the normal, the electric damage. Like, again.
So in theory, steel would essentially do the same thing.
Yes.
Just in invert.
Yep.
I feel like they're making it more complicated than it needs to be.
Probably.
And that Sword and Shield probably had the right answer, just make them big. It sounds completely stupid and childish on that, but I actually think the just make them big mechanic is probably the smarter play.
Yeah, and I don't know if there are unique hats, because I'm just going to call them hats, because that's essentially what they are. You're putting the big, giant, stupid crystal hat on your Pokemon. I don't know if there are unique hats, because we only got to see a Pikachu, our starters, and I think, no, we saw another Pokemon, but I think it was grass. And the grass one looked the same. So it seems like these are uniform, because every Pokemon's supposed to be able to use this method. So yeah, that's our new gimmick. We got introduced to some characters. They're Pokemon characters with very basic introductions. We'll deal with them another day. What's important is the new Pokemon. So first and foremost, we have a Palladian form, our first Palladian form. It's Wooper. He's poison type now. He's a straight up poison type.
Okay. To be fair, he has poisoned people into liking him.
Yes. We also get Fido, which is fucking adorable, and I love it. I need this on my team.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Honestly.
This thing is adorable, and I love it, and I want to give it a hug, and I want to be it on my team. I want it to be on my team. It is fairy type. It is just a doe dog. There is some sort of like doe-based food from I forget the region that's based on. I think it's like Spain, something like that. That easily can be turned into a dog pun. So that's probably the name of its evolution, because this is probably evolving. I kind of am curious if it will work like Alcremie, and it has like different colorations and stuff, since it is kind of the same idea of, you know, cake dough based Pokemon. You can kind of like change it a little bit or catch variations of it that are different colors.
That would be neat. In all seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have it do something similar to like how Eevee's evolutions are. Or depending on what item you give it, it can be not necessarily a different Pokemon, but a different style of that evolution.
Yeah. Lastly, we got Cetrian or Setian or Setiai, or I think Cetrian or Setian. He is big giant ice whale Pokemon. He is ice. He has spikes. He is big. He is friend shaped. That is it. Unfortunately, I think Fido is the winner of these three so far.
Oh, Fido definitely has an evolution similar to that.
I'm sure if I go look through the leaks and stuff, I'm sure I will find the information that says
I'm not even looking at leaks.
Yeah.
No, that image that they've got there in a store sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If they're not, then I'm gonna be amazed.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the Scarlet and Violet Direct. Not too much more information on Scarlet and Violet. We just get a lot more of the basics of the game and stuff. I'm still on the fence on which version, because we still haven't gotten into what are the differences here besides, would you like dumb Fred Flintstone Dragon or fancy Future Dragon? I'll be honest. Thinking of our of Koraidon as Fred Flintstone Dragon makes me like him, because that's what he is.
Fair.
I'm sure younger people in the audience will have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, that is the Pokemon recap. Anything else?
No.
All right, another recap. THQ Nordic had its 10th anniversary stream. I'll be honest, the only thing I saw that came out of this was that Alone in the Dark is getting a reboot. The original Alone in the Dark from way back when is getting a reboot. It's coming from Pisces Interactive. It'll be third-person single-player horror game. It's been in development for 4 years. Looks very, honestly, it looks very like current Resident Evil, which good. That's considering Alone in the Dark was original Resident Evil back in the day. Yeah, that feels like the natural progression of this franchise to continue to follow Resident Evil in that respect. Although I think Alone in the Dark was first. Let me look. Yes, Alone in the Dark was actually first by 4 years. It was in 1992. Original Resident Evil came out in 96. Yeah, it looks good from what I'm seeing. Hopefully it's better than the last time they tried to reboot Alone in the Dark. Nobody liked that one. It sucked. We've got an RTS called Tempest Rising. I'll be honest, I did not watch this. I didn't know about this until after the fact, so this is new information to me. It looks like an RTS. Moving on. Space for sale. You were developing property on an alien planet. That pretty much is it. It looks fine. You might be interested in this. Recreation, coming from a team made up of Burnout and Need for Speed developers. I skimmed through a little bit of this, like the later parts of the trailer, because the early parts are just, look at our cars, aren't they fancy? And I'm like, yes, they are, but that's not the important part here. It looks like essentially, hey, would you like a game like Trackmania? Because that looks like what we're doing.
I could see that working, man.
Like, just big, dumb courses. It looks like the cars have destruction to them. Which, hey, this is coming from the Need for Speed and Burnout devs. What do you expect? Excuse me. But yeah, it looks neat. I'll keep an eye out on it. And it looks like it has a real-time track builder. I guess your friends can build the track while you're currently racing on it.
Huh.
That sounds dangerous.
I mean, yes, but that also sounds like that would be immensely funny.
I'm gonna skip through some of these. We're getting a new SpongeBob game. Does this AEW game have anything new to it? It looks like a fairly standard wrestling game, if I'm being honest. And it is still coming soon. All right, moving on. Sorry, AEW, you got to do more than that. Destroy All Humans 2 is getting a remaster. And that is pretty much it. Anything else interest you in this stuff?
Nah, not really.
All right. Last up, Evo had a bunch of announcements. Surprisingly, usually it's fairly few. It's only like some DLC stuff here and there. There's actually some interesting stuff to come out of it. So, Guilty Gear Strive announced their second DLC character, Bridget, who I'm a little confused on what their pronouns are supposed to be, because the beginning of their bio has them described as a man, but through their upbringing, they've transitioned to a woman. But at no point later on in the biography did they specify what their pronouns are. So I'm like, is it her? Is it they? Because I'm not sure which one of the two to use. But we have essentially a transgender character in Guilty Gear Survive that uses a yo-yo and proceeds to walk the dog on your face. So, all the thumbs up all around from me. I'm not gonna lie, Guilty Gear Strive, just having a character that's just like, I have a weaponized yo-yo and I will style on your ass, and I'm like, yes, good. And representation, always a plus. I believe they also confirmed that Dragon Ball FighterZ, or let me see if that's further down. Okay, that's further down. Never mind. I saw Arc System Works and I was just like, but no, we'll wait on that. Street Fighter announced Jury is returning for Street Fighter 6, and Kimberly, a new fighter, is also coming to Street Fighter 6. SNK kind of stole the show for some people, because not only did they announce a second season of DLC for King of Fighters 15, and announced rollback netcode coming to Samurai Showdown, like the new Samurai Showdown. They announced that they have a brand new Garo Mark of the Wolves title in development. After 17 years of leaving players on a cliffhanger, they are developing a new Garo Mark of the Wolves, or a Garo like Fatal Fury based game. So good on SNK, because I have watched a very long retrospective on the history of that studio, and good fucking lord, have I never seen a studio go through so much shit but still be kicking somehow, some way. Tekken might have announced a new Tekken. Well, we might have gotten a new Tekken announcement, because there was a new model of Kazuya Mishima, but there was no confirmation of a Tekken 8 or a remaster of Tekken 1 or anything entirely, so that is up in the air. Dragon Ball FighterZ is receiving rollback netcode. Arc System Works is implementing that for all platforms at the same time, so it will be PC, PS5, Series X, while PS4 and Xbox One people will have to wait and see. Also, no more new characters for Dragon Ball FighterZ. The Labcoat 20 Android 21 that they released is the final DLC character. And they are also done with balance updates, so the game is essentially feature complete outside of rollback that they are implementing. Skullgirl
feature complete.
Pretty much. Skullgirls announced a new character, Marie, who is the original final boss of the game, will now be playable on PC and console and mobile next year. I cannot believe Skullgirls is still getting content and still getting characters, because it is probably the oldest game that we are talking about in this list right now.
Yeah.
Which is, granted, I think part of that has to do with the fact that stopped developers because of a whole bunch of shenanigans with some of the original people in charge. But damn, good on Skullgirls. Melty Blood Type Lumina will be getting Neko Arc, who is a very tiny chibi character, and Mosh Kirlight from Fate Grand Order as characters in the future. They're also tweaking a bunch of the systems and stuff to make the game better, according to the one FGC person I listened to who talked about it, which was Ty Tuesday. So, according to him, they made the game better. So I'm going to say they made the game better. Multiverses will receive its proper first season of content. We'll start its first season of content. I think next week. They delayed it a little bit. It's not too far off. But ranked, along with proper first batch of content and all that, is going to come. You get a DC Comics hero Robin for LeBron James, and you get the Valkyrie costume for Bugs Bunny from the What's Opera doc. I know that. I know that one just off the description. I didn't know the name of the cartoon, but I know the off description because I can literally hear some of the lines from that cartoon right now in my head. That is how much some of the Looney Tunes stuff is just buried in my subconscious.
Fair.
Ultimax reiterated its rollback netcode update that is still being kind of phased out through all of its different platforms. Blazing Strike has been pushed back to next year. I don't even know what Blazing Strike is. Apparently it's Arc System or AK Systems game. It's coming out next year. And lastly, and kind of interesting because of the wording and verbiage attached to it, Arcade 1UP are doing one of their fancy special cabinets for all of the Marvel Capcom fighters from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 all the way back to the original like X-Men, like to the two X-Men fighters from back in the day. All those are coming in one package. It's $500, but it's like one of those like smaller scale arcade cabinets. I think you've seen them at like the Walmart because they sell them there. Yeah, it's one of those cabinets. All of the titles are multiplayer compatible. You can play them online, not only with those cabinets, but depending on the game, since they've released those games in other cabinets, you can play with those cabinets, so it's cross-play, which is kind of nuts. It is rollback. But the weird thing with some of the verbiage they've used, they've said that this is a limited run. I forget if they've said how many copies it is, but I think they've specified the number of copies. And they've also used the verbiage of this is the last time we might see a release of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Because this kind of got brought out because Maximilian Dude on YouTube pushed a big, hashtag of free MVC2 because it's been delisted and all that. To get a proper re-release of the game on some platform somewhere. Since it was last released on the I believe the 360. Like the 360 release of MVC2 was the last full release of the game. But yeah, certain verbiage attached to it. I also know from watching Maximilian Dude's video talking about this, where he went and watched Game Informer's video on it. The person that Game Informer interviewed used to work at Capcom and used to work their logistics to do crossover stuff like this. So, kind of interesting that he's involved in this. And again, that certain verbiage, I don't want to say for certain that like this might be the last time we ever see Marvel vs. Capcom 2 released officially. But
it probably will.
It depends. It may just be verbiage to sell the cabinets because again, they are $500 cabinets that they're pricing this as. With 7 games. But
at the same time, it's kind of odd that now we can have a re-release of it.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that is either someone playing in a gray zone or it might be kind of the actual...
Yeah, we will see. This is just something to keep an eye on. I do know, according to Max, that those cabinets apparently get clearance super hard later on, but it's the really old ones. And since this is a limited run, it might not get clearance at all. Like, this might sell out day one. So if you are interested in something like this, check out Arcade 1UP. I've heard nothing but good things about Arcade 1UP's work. Outside the fact, since they are downscaled arcade cabinets, if you are a tall person, essentially like in the 6-foot range, you might want a stool for this. Yeah, you might need a stool. just put it out there. You might need something to sit in. But that was pretty much it. Any other thoughts on Evo?
Huh?
All right, last up, something near and dear to both of our hearts. Bionicle Massive Power, I think, recently did like a presentation for Bionicle Day, and we have a gameplay trailer of combat from the game. So we get some proper first looks at the game that I believe is still in development.
Got the sound
bear in mind-
muted in case of anything. So just putting that out there.
I think it's just game audio, but you know,
I've got it muted just in case.
fair. For any of those wondering, it should just be game audio if you want to listen to this. It's in all of our notes and stuff. But it's being described as an open world action adventure game. This is a fan game. This is not officially licensed in any capacity. This is being built by Team Konoe. We're seeing Liwa gameplay, more or less reminiscent of the beginning of G1 Bionicle. Just talking to some of our little friends. It is not voice acted. It is just, you know, Sims dialogue, essentially, just blip, 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 blip. But
I
yeah,
always
I'm gonna
forget how good Unreal 5 was.
Like, it looks pretty good. Like, for those wondering why it looks weird that you have all of these, like, you know, realistic looking foliage and stuff, and then you have Lego characters and stuff in it. That is the Bionicle aesthetic. That has always been the Bionicle aesthetic. Because the Bionicles are technically mechanical life forms. They are not people. They are mechanical life forms. I think every creature in the Bionicle universe is a I think more biomechanical, I think, but it's essentially that same idea. It looks like you can swap masks on the fly for various effects and stuff. Looks like Tahu's mask gives you like a counter shield. Combat looks good. I don't see any like big problems with it.
And we probably wouldn't, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, not on something like this small scale. Oh, and all your masks are on a weapon wheel. Good choice. Weapon wheels are always a good choice. Believe it or not, if you have an action game, do look into figuring out how to do a weapon wheel. It will be good. It'll be better for your players.
It will be the good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see anything too bad with this. Kind of curious, like, what all of this will entail, if it's like kind of the first arc of the original Bionicle and all that. You know, if we won't get too deep into the lore, maybe just like the first part. Like, we're not gonna get to like the seventh Toa, like proper Makuta and all of that. Not unless this game does really well. But yeah, you can wishlist this on Steam. I still don't think it has a release date yet. It is still in development. So I guess wishlist it on Steam and keep an eye out for when Steam tells you it's out. Anything else before we move on to releases?
Huh?
All right then, releases. Where do we begin?
I would say not at the top.
Well, 16th gets us Roller Dome for PS4 and PS5. I believe that's that roller skating action game that we saw a while back. We also have Zorro the Chronicles for Switch. On the 17th, Kirby's Dream Buffet, that little like online like Nintendo Switch title, that eShop title for Kirby that was very Fall Guys-esque. On the 18th, Curse to Golf on Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. There is not a whole lot here. Themesia for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and a cloud version on the Switch. On the 19th, A Tale of Paper Refolded for Xbox One and Series X. Madden NFL 23 for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4 and 5. On the 23rd, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Is that still going on?
Yes, it is.
How? Is Jeff Foxworthy still hosting it?
I don't think so, actually.
Oh, okay. All right, then. Saints Row, the reboot for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5 in Stadia. In Yars Recharge for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, Switch in Stadia.
You only said both of them because they had Stadia.
Yes, I did. Look, we have to point out how little Stadia gets every 2 weeks. Because if you don't believe that Stadia as a platform has failed, I got news for you. It has failed as a platform.
I think it has as far as a successful one.
Yeah.
As far as for showing everyone that, you know, cloud play can be a thing, I think that's where it's actually succeeded. Because if you think about that, it wasn't until after Google stepped into the ring that Microsoft started dealing in it. Technically, PlayStation deals with it. Because you can play stuff through the PS Now app on the PC.
Yeah. Like, it has not failed on a technical level. It has failed as a platform for you to play video games on. Because, unfortunately, that determines whether you succeed or not in the industry. If you fail as a means for which people to play video games on, it doesn't matter how good you were. You're dead. You're done. Goodbye. No one cares. Quite literally, no one cares because no one's playing your stuff. Because, like, that happened to the Virtual Boy. That happened, kind of to the...
Wow.
I mean,
what happened to the Virtual Boy?
Right, but it also failed as a platform.
I mean, the vomit-inducing red did not help in.
Yeah, the Wii U also kind of failed as a platform. Amongst its other failures.
Well, gee, I wouldn't know why a console that was named similar to the previous console would fail.
Yeah. That's what happened to...
Yeah.
That's what happened to, what was it, the Sega Dreamcast?
Not so much the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of their swan song in there.
I feel like one of the Sega platforms failed in that regard.
It was between the Genesis and the Dreamcast, but I can't think of which one.
Saturn?
Yeah.
The Saturn?
Yeah.
Sega Sanshiro. No amount of Sega Sanshiro would save the Sega Saturn.
I mean, Saturn/CD.
You know,
because it kind of did too. Yeah.
Honestly, now being a Rider fan, Sega Sanshiro has a whole new dimension of why. I know why, because Sega is not connected to Kamen Rider in any capacity. Why did we not have Sega Sanshiro show up in some sort of X8 special with a fucking gamer driver?
Would have been too easy.
I know, but here's the thing. He's played Sega Sanshiro and transformed into Kamen Rider at like a stage play or something. Because I've seen evidence of that. So he acknowledges that he has played both roles. And also now his son has played both roles because his son has played Hongo in the recent superhero Tyson film that I can't remember the name of offhand. But he's also played the son of Sega Sanshiro in a set of commercials celebrating the anniversary for Sega's anniversary. And I have watched all of them, and they are also subbed on YouTube if you look for it. they're not quite as bonkers as the original Sega Sanshiro commercials, because Sega Sanshiro commercials are a fucking trip and a goddamn half, and they are worth a watch for anyone who like just is curious. But like, someone needs to slap a gamer driver on Sega Sanshiro and give him some sort of Sega game that is his gas hat. I don't care what. Let it be Sonic, because that would be funny.
Yeah.
Let it be Sonic to compete with X8's Mario gas hat.
But it's not Mario.
Most of his power-ups are Mario based.
It is.
The only one that isn't, still to this day, that I can't quite figure out what the connection is Max Mighty.
Possibly a reference to the Mega Mushroom.
That's what I think, but because it acts more like a mech and stuff, I'm not sure. Unless it's technically like a clown car reference. Since, you know, the clown car does 1,001 things besides just fly around these days.
Maybe.
But like, hell, even Mighty Creator is Mario Maker. Original Mario Maker from way back in the day. Anywho, back to releases.
I bet that's what it is. I bet it's the Mega Mushroom.
Probably.
And then when it functions on its own, that has to be the reference to the clown car.
Yeah, because it also has the face on the front. Anywho, back to releases. August 25th, F1 Manager 2022 for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. SD Gundam Battle Alliance for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 26th, Deer Simulator, your average everyday deer game for PlayStation 4 and Switch. Pac-Man World Repack for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Soul Hackers 2, which I might keep an eye on because that's the new game from Atlas for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. And that is it, folks. Anything else?
Nah.
All right, then. Tomorrow, it's Ace Attorney. We're finishing up Turnabout Goodbyes tomorrow. Thursday, I'll be continuing Rider Chronicle. Friday will be something.
I think at this point, tentatively, KH2 Rando.
Mm-hmm.
Might be Saturday, though. It just depends.
Yeah. So, Saturday is also tentative at the moment. I'll try to get out the schedule. It'll be late one afternoon this week, but I'll try to get the schedule out whenever it's finalized. And then we're back around to next Sunday where we pick up on Ace Attorney 2 and we watch through the Second Cases games. Or we start on the Second Cases games along with the full flashback of the one mock court case that we'll talk about tomorrow.
I mean, you technically aren't wrong.
I mean, yeah, we are. Well, here's the thing. The Turnabout Goodbyes has a couple significant differences for some reason, and I don't know why. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. They're really noticeable if you know the games, at least pacing-wise, because it's an odd hiccup for, like, no reason, honestly. But yeah, that will do it for me and for Tommy. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. I really appreciate it. Chip and feel like go at TZone on Twitter, gets you updates on live. Next point, Discord chat is this darling. Drop by, say hi. See you tomorrow, folks.